The sound hit me first, steel scraping against steel, victory songs slurred by drunken warriors, something violent that made my pulse quicken with fear. Voices hushed around me as I moved through the grand hall, my cane tapping urgent warnings against the stone floor. The victory feast was in full chaos, a cacophony of noise that both guided and disoriented me, armor clanking, aggressive laughter, the thunder of boots stomping in celebration. And beneath it all, the sharp metallic tang of fresh blood that told me these soldiers had come straight from battle. "Just find the servants' benches, Ilara," my cousin Mira whispered, her hand briefly touching my elbow before disappearing. I knew what she wasn't saying, that attending the Werewolf's feast was her chance to catch an officer's eye, that guiding her blind Omega cousin wasn't part of her ambitions. I couldn't falter. In the Blackwood Pack, the victory feast represented power, the chance to be noticed by warriors, to secure protection, to rise in status. For someone like me, it represented something else entirely, another reminder of my place at the edges. I adjusted the strip of gray cloth that covered my eyes, feeling the worn fabric tight against my temples. "Trust what you sense beyond sight," my grandmother had told me before she died, smoothing my hair with gentle fingers when I was barely 13. "Your other senses will never lie to you." 5 years later, her words remained my anchor in a world designed for those who could see. The blindfold was my only shield. That and the heightened senses that had sharpened alongside my blindness. Our pack viewed these abilities as compensation for my defect. An Omega who could smell poison in wine, who could hear a heartbeat shift from calm to rage, but who couldn't navigate a crowded room without stumbling. Hardly the makings of someone worth protecting. My cane tapped rhythmically as I moved forward, counting steps the way I always did, 40 from the entrance to where the servants' benches began. The kitchen staff had described the layout earlier, but the crowd had shifted. A drunken soldier shoved past. I stumbled right, my count disrupted. My hand found carved wood, relief flooded through me. A chair. I sank into it with a grateful exhale, pulling my white dress around me. The silence hit like a physical blow. Music stopped, laughter died. Only the crackle of fire remained. And breathing. Heavy, rhythmic breathing inches away. A hand covered mine. Large, calloused, immovable, trapping it against wood. The scent overwhelmed me. Pine, iron, blood. "You have claimed the Queen's seat, little Omega," a deep voice rumbled, vibrating through my bones. "Tell me why I shouldn't let you keep it." I yanked my hand back, or tried to. His grip tightened, not painful, but absolute, like iron wrapped in velvet. My heart hammered against my ribs so hard I thought it might crack bone. "Your Majesty, this is an outrage," a harsh voice cut through the silence. Boots stomped closer. "She mocks the crown. Let me remove—" "General Vane." The king's voice dropped to something colder than winter. "Sit down." The footsteps stopped, retreated. I heard the creak of wood as someone sat heavily, fury radiating off them in waves I could only taste. "The feast continues," Kalen commanded, his thumb brushing across my knuckles in slow, deliberate strokes. "Musicians, play." Tentative notes filled the air. Conversation resumed, stilted and uncertain, but the king's attention never wavered from me. "Forgive me, Your Majesty, I didn't—" My voice cracked. "I thought it was the servants' bench." His tone held something that might have been amusement. "You mistounded." He fudded my face. "Yes." A plate scraped against wood near my free hand. The scent of roasted meat and herbs wafted up. "Eat," he said simply. "I should go." "You should eat." Not a suggestion, a command wrapped in silk. To your left, venison, still warm. Ahead, red with butter. Your wine sits at 2 o'clock. I froze. He was describing the table like I was a guest, not an intruder who'd committed an unforgivable breach of protocol. "Why are you doing this?" The question escaped before I could stop it. His hand shifted, turning my palm up, his fingers lacing through mine. The gesture felt oddly intimate, for something done before an audience of hundreds. "Because, little Omega," he said, his voice low enough that only I could hear, "you're either very brave or very foolish. And I'm curious which." I forced myself to eat. Small bites of venison that tasted like ash on my tongue. The king's presence beside me was overwhelming. His scent, his heat, the weight of his attention. Every sound in the hall seemed amplified. Laughter too loud, silverware scraping plates like nails on stone. My head throbbed. Footsteps approached. Soft-souled. A servant. Your wine, your majesty. The voice was neutral, practiced. Liquid poured. The rich scent of burgundy filled the air, mingling with smoke and meat and sweat. But underneath, something else. Something bitter, sharp, wrong. My grandmother's voice echoed in my mind. Trust what you sense beyond sight. The scent intensified as the cup moved. Toward Kalen, toward his lips. I didn't think. My hand shot out, striking the goblet before it reached his mouth. Metal rang against stone. Wine splashed across the table, the floor, and sizzled. The sound was unmistakable. Acid eating through stout. Smoke rose in thin tendrils from where the wine pooled, the liquid bubbling and hissing like a living thing. Silence crashed down harder than before. Kalen's hand was still in mine. His grip tightened, not restraining but anchoring. I felt his heart beat through our joint palms, steady, controlled, even as poison steamed at our feet. Seize that servant, he said quietly. Too quietly. Chaos erupted, shouting, running. The clatter of armor as guards moved. A strangled cry cut short. How did you know? Kalen's voice was at my ear, his breath warm against my cheek. The smell, I whispered, trembling now that the danger had passed. Bitter almonds, hidden under the wine. But I could smell it. His thumb traced my knuckles again, a gesture that was becoming familiar. You just saved my life, little Omega. I heard something in his voice I couldn't quite name. Not gratitude, something deeper, something that made my pulse race for entirely different reasons. What is your name? Ilara. I breathed. Ilara. He repeated it slowly, like tasting something rare. You'll stay beside me tonight, for your protection. It didn't sound like a question. The king's chambers smelled of leather and pine smoke, of mats and steel. My cane tapped across smooth stone as Kalen guided me inside, his hand at my elbow firm but surprisingly gentle. Your Majesty, this isn't. I should return to the servants' quarters, where the conspirators know exactly where to find you. Metal clinked, buckles loosening. It was removing his armor. No. I stood frozen near what I assumed was the door, clutching my cane like a lifeline. Each piece of armor he shed made a distinct sound. Pauldrons, gauntlets, the heavy chest plate hitting a wooden stand with a solid thunk. Sit, Ilara. You're safe here. I found a chair by touch. Soft leather. Nothing like the rough benches I was accustomed to. The silence stretched between us, broken only by the crackling of a fire. I could feel radiating warmth from my right. The blindfold, he said finally. Closer now. I could hear fabric shifting as he moved. Does it help you see? No. My hand instinctively touched the gray cloth. It helps others not see me. Explain. The command was soft but unyielding. I drew a shaky breath. My eyes. They're wrong, clouded, white. People fear what they don't understand. They think I'm cursed, touched by dark magic. My fingers twisted in my lap. The blindfold lets them forget I'm there. Makes me less frightening. Footsteps approached. Bare feet on stone. He'd removed his boots. The intimacy of that detail made my breath catch. And the scars? His voice was directly in front of me now. I can see the edges beneath the fabric. My throat tightened. No one asked about the scars. No one looked close enough to notice. An accident. When I was young, my father, the word stuck. He was ashamed of what I'd become, what I couldn't be. Rough fingers touched my chin, tilted my face up. You saved my life tonight with those eyes, Kalen said quietly. There's nothing wrong with you, Ilara. Only with those too blind to see your worth. The council chamber felt like a battlefield. Tension crackled in the air, sharp enough to taste. I sat in a chair against the wall, trying to make myself invisible, while the king's generals argued my fate. This is madness, Your Majesty. General Vane's voice was ice and steel. The law is clear. The queen must be of strong blood, a warrior, not some fragile Omega who stumbles through hallways. That fragile Omega saved my life. Kalen's tone held an edge I recognize now, the warning before the strike. While your guards fail to detect poison in my cup, an accident. Was it? The question silenced the room. Someone tried to kill me last night, Vane. In my own hall, under your watch, and the only one who noticed was blind. Leather creaked as someone shifted. The smell of aggression permeated the space. Multiple alphas, all on edge. The ancient laws exist for a reason, another voice interjected. Older, calculated. A weak queen makes a weak pack. Our enemies will see this as vulnerability. Our enemies, Kalen said slowly, will see a king who values intelligence over brute strength, who keeps counsel that can sense threats others miss. She's a liability. Vane's fist struck wood. She can't fight, can't lead warriors into battle, can't even navigate a feast without causing incident. She can smell poison and wine, hear lies and heartbeats, sense danger before it strikes. Kalen's boots crossed the floor, moving closer to where I sat. Tell me, Vane, which skill serves a queen better? Swinging a sword, or knowing when the blade is aimed at her king's back? The silence stretched. Dangerous. Volatile. You're choosing her? Vane's voice dropped to something deadly. Over the counsel of your generals, over tradition, over the strength of this pack. I'm choosing survival, Kalen corrected. If you question my judgment, General, you're welcome to challenge it formally. The threat hung in the air. A challenge meant combat, meant blood. Not yet, Vane said softly, but the pack will demand proof she's worthy. And when she fails, Your Majesty, even you cannot protect her. The garden was my refuge. Stone paths worn smooth by centuries of footsteps. Herbs that released their scent when my fingers brushed the leaves. Rosemary, lavender, thyme. Here I could breathe without the weight of hostile eyes tracking my every movement. My cane traced the edge of a raised bed, soil, damp from recent rain. I knelt, letting my hands sink into the earth, grounding myself in something real and solid. Voices drifted from beyond the hedge, low, conspiratorial. I froze. The hunt is perfect. Accidents happen in the forest. This speaker was male. Refined accent, not a common soldier. And if he survives, he won't, not with 3 ambush points. The king may be skilled, but he can't fight shadows. My heart hammered. I should move, should breathe. But fear rooted me to the spot. What about the Omega? A third voice, younger, nervous. Laughter, cold and dismissive. She's blind, you fool. Probably deaf too. Even if she heard something, who would believe her? A broken Omega against the word of high-ranking pack members? Vane said. Vane says many things, but he agrees the king's judgment is compromised. Once Kalen falls during the hunt, we install someone worthy, someone strong. Footsteps, coming closer. I pressed myself against the hedge, thorns biting through my dress. My cane lay in the dirt where I'd dropped it. Visible, damning. Did you hear something? Just the wind. They passed within feet of me. So close I could smell pipe smoke and wine. The scent burned into my memory. Their footsteps faded. I waited, counting my heartbeats. 100, 200. Then I ran, hands outstretched, stumbling over roots and stones. I had to find Kalen, had to warn him. The hunt was a trap, and I was the only one who knew. I burst through the door of his chambers, chest heaving. My dress was torn from thorns. Dirt streaked my arms. Elada? Kalen was at my side instantly, his hands on my shoulders, steadying me. What happened? The hunt. The words tumbled out between gasps. They're planning. An ambush. 3 points. Slow down. His grip tightened. Who? I don't know. I couldn't see them, but I heard. I grabbed his arm. They said accidents happen in the forest. That you wouldn't survive. That your judgment is compromised because of me. Silence. I could feel him thinking, calculating. You're certain? I heard them in the garden. They thought I was deaf. Anger bled into my voice. They laughed about it. About me. About how no one would believe a broken Omega. His thumb brushed my cheek, wiping away something wet. I hadn't realized I was crying. I believe you. Relief crashed through me so hard my knees nearly buckled. We cancel the hunt, I said quickly. You stay in the castle where it's safe. No. His tone was firm. If we cancel, they'll know someone warned me. They'll regroup, strike differently. We need to draw them out. But I'll be ready this time. Was it a counter trap? How? Fear made my voice sharp. You don't even know who they are. Not yet. But they'll reveal themselves when they spring the ambush. He paused. You're coming with me. What? No, I can't. You can hear what others miss. Sense danger before it strikes. His hands cupped my face, thumbs tracing my cheekbones. I need you there, Ilara. You're my advantage. I'll slow you down. Get in the way. You'll stay by my side where I can protect you, where they can't use you against me. His voice dropped. I won't lose you to their scheming. Do you understand? I understood. He was choosing me, again, despite the risk. I'm terrified, I whispered. Good. His forehead touched mine. Fear keeps you sharp. The forest swallowed us whole. Shadows and scent and sound pressing in from all sides. I sat before Kalen on his warhorse, his arm locked around my waist, his chest solid against my back. Tell me what you hear, he murmured against my ear. I closed my eyes beneath the blindfold. Unnecessary, but the habit comforted me. Horses, 20, maybe 25, hoofbeats on soft earth. I tilted my head. Birds have gone quiet, too quiet for midday. His arm tightened. The pack spread out around us. I could hear General Vane riding close, his horse's gait aggressive, impatient. Others fanned into the trees, their laughter echoing unnaturally in the stillness. A twig snapped. Left side. Too sharp. Too deliberate. There, I whispered. Kalen's hand moved to his sword. Silent. Ready. The forest held its breath. Then, chaos. Arrows hissed through air. I heard them before I felt Kalen move. Yanking the reins hard. Our horse reared. Screams erupted. The clash of steel on steel. Down. Kalen pulled me from the saddle, his body covering mine as we hit the ground. An arrow struck a tree, where my head had been seconds before. I could hear everything. Too much. Horses screaming. Men shouting. The wet sound of blade meeting flesh. Stay behind me, Kalen commanded, drawing his sword. The metallic ring as it left its sheath sang through the chaos. East, I gasped. Two more coming from the east, like footsteps. Archers. He moved without question, trusting my ears over his eyes. I heard the whistle of arrows. Heard Kalen's sword deflect them with precise strikes. Heard bodies falling. Third ambush point, I called out. North, horses approaching fast. Vane. Kalen's voice cut through the battle. Dwarf flank, now. But there was no response. Only the sound of hoofbeats. Retreating. Vane was running. Or joining the attackers. It's him, I breathed. Kalen, it's Vane. Something slammed into me from the side. I went down hard, rolling through dead leaves and roots. My cane clattered away. Kalen's shout seemed miles distant. Growls surrounded me, low, hungry. Wolves in their shifted forms. I scrambled backward, hands searching desperately for my cane. Found it, gripped it like a weapon. The blind Omega, a voice snarled. Half human, half beast. Perfect bait for a distracted king. They circled. 3, maybe 4. I could hear their paws crushing undergrowth, could smell wet fur and bloodlust. My grandmother's voice cut through the panic. Trust what you sense beyond sight. I stilled, listened. Water, rushing water somewhere behind me. Close. The sound echoed strangely, a hollow, empty echo. A ravine. Come on, I whispered, backing toward the sound. Using my cane to test the ground. 1 step, 2 steps. The earth changed, looser, crumbling. The ravine edge was close, too close. A wolf lunged. I heard the push of muscles, the displacement of air. I dropped low, swinging my cane in an arc. Connected with bone. A yelp. She fights. Laughter. Cruel. This'll be entertaining. They advanced together. I counted heartbeats, breathing patterns. 3 wolves, 2 left, 1 right. I waited until they were close enough to taste. Then I dove sideways. The wolves couldn't stop their momentum. I heard them scramble, claws scraping stone. Heard the moment gravity claimed them. Their howls echoed as they fell into the ravine. Silence. I lay gasping in the dirt, every muscle trembling. Elara. Kalen crashed through the brush, dropped beside me. His hands ran over me, checking for wounds. I'm okay, I managed. He pulled me against his chest, his heart thundering beneath armor and leather. When he spoke, his voice was rough with something between awe and fury. You took down 3 assassins. Blind. Alone. I heard the ravine, I said weakly. You're magnificent. He pressed his lips to my forehead. And you're never leaving my sight. Again. The great hall fell silent as we entered. I could feel every eye on us, on our torn clothes. The blood, some ours, some not, on Kalen's hand wrapped firmly around mine. General Vane, Kalen's voice carried through the space like a blade. Step forward. Footsteps, hesitant, the smell of fierce sweat cutting through wood smoke and stone. Your Majesty, I can explain. Can you explain why you fled during the ambush? Kalen's tone was ice. Why you abandoned your king while assassins attacked? Why 3 ambush points were positioned exactly where you scouted yesterday? Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Shock, anger, understanding. Or perhaps, Kalen continued, you'd like to explain to your fellow warriors how a blind Omega detected the trap you helped plan, how she saved my life while you conspired to end it. She's a witch, Vane's voice cracked. She's poisoned your mind. Enough. The single word cracked like a whip. You are stripped of rank, title, honor. Guards, take him. The sound of chains. Vane's protest fading as he was dragged away. Kalen turned to address the hall. His hand squeezed mine. The pact demands proof of worth, he said. You wanted to see if this Omega deserves to stand beside your king. He released my hand. I felt exposed, vulnerable. Then his fingers touched my blindfold. Kalen, I whispered, don't. Trust me. The fabric loosened, fell away. Cool air touched my scarred eyelids. My clouded, useless eyes that had shamed my father, terrified children, marked me as cursed. The hall was utterly silent. Kalen's lips pressed against one closed eyelid, then the other, gentle, reverent. These eyes saved my kingdom, he announced. Saw treachery where others saw loyalty, perceived truth where others were blind. Something heavy settled on my head. Metal, warm from his body heat. His crown. I claim Ilara as my queen, Kalen declared. My equal, my seer. Anyone who questions her worth, questions me. He pulled me close, his voice dropping to a whisper, only I could hear. You were never broken, little Omega. You were always exactly what I needed.